2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, we are ready to go. All right, welcome to the 4th installment of TylerMakes, a game out of Corona SDK. I'm trying to remember if this is the 4th episode. Yeah, it's part 4. Cool. So, yeah, if you don't know, this is a series where I make a game from start to finish in Corona SDK. To share the wealth of knowledge, and also so that people can correct me and any mistakes I make, help me learn. Hopefully you're watching this on Twitch, but if not, you can see it after the fact on YouTube by going to that site, and then you can also go to github.com/TylerMakes to find the code. So if you want all the source code and you just want to jump in and play around with stuff, feel free to do that. It's all up there. I want to make sure I can't hear myself while I talk. Okay, cool. So yeah, last week we left off with selecting an item and then placing them. Oh, there's only one of those. And placing them all around, and placing new ones, etc. Cool. So that's like some base functionality for where we're eventually going with this game. As a note, you know, the game that I'm building has a portion of it that is Farmville-esque, where you place items and they grow and stuff. But at the same time, like, this functionality could be used for a myriad of things. You can make a, you know, original Zelda-like game where you run around in different paths. You could use it as a level editor for a greater game. It could be a weird drawing game where you're drawing stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of functionality here that we got fairly quickly. And let's keep going. Okay, so one of the problems we left off was if I sit here and I move around, that's fine. Click there, go back. Now I can use up all my test 3 items in just this grid, even though there were like 30 of them. Now there's none. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna make it so that you cannot place an item on another item. So there's gonna be a state for these tiles, and we're not gonna allow you to place something on them unless they're in the correct state. So we're gonna go do that. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna check if there's an item. Map, plant. Let's go make a can plant function. Interesting. There we go. So here's our plant function, which we had before. Just giving it an I and a J will go to those tiles. Okay, cool. So we're good there. Let's just do this. We're gonna do a can plant to test if that function, and we'll leave the type on there because why not? But no, it could be helpful in the future because it might be that we have maybe a type of plant that can go on top of another plant or something, or maybe some special effect happens. So we'll double check. Maybe we won't use it, but you know, who cares? So this is a tile at this grid point, and we want to say can plant. So we're just going to delegate that to the tile itself to ask the tile whether or not it can plant something. So now we're going to go to the tile, add our can plant function. Oh wait, we don't need IJ, we just want can plant. Oh, gotta remember what language I'm in. We're gonna keep it simple. Actually, what am I doing? This is the way we should do this. Return if that equals nothing. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna add our state. We're gonna put nothing. And then, interesting, when we plant, oh, we make a new tile that is like the item. Okay, so maybe we don't want to do it this way. I'm just thinking. So we're going to create a group with a type. And currently that type actually equates to a color. How do we want to do this? Yeah, let's take this back. We don't need a function for this. Let's do it this way. We're gonna go like this and go, and then we want whatever the type is. So I think what I'm gonna do next, after we make sure that we can plant, is I'm gonna go through and change the type from a just a number that we're using here to determine the fill color, and actually change it to a type that then maps to that number. So we're gonna make the base state whatever the original type is. Interesting, there is no original type. Okay, so we'll just put it as 0. No, let's put it as something -1. That won't be something that we'll have ever passed in type. That'll make it a little simpler. So if it equals -1, that means that you can plant there. Otherwise, you cannot plant there. Okay, let's try it out, see if we missed anything. Yep. Oh, messed up some typing. It's in the game. Line 40. Can plant. Oh, yep, here I am using stuff from other languages again. Been doing too much programming in other languages. Okay, so can plant here. Can move over here. Can we move back? Oh, we can. That's not good. Okay, can plant return type equals -1. Oh, here we go. The part of that is that when we were passing in this type, we're not ever setting it on this. So let's do that. Oh, just typing away. No idea what I'm typing. Okay. Cool. Let's try that. Oh, now you can't type anywhere. Alright. That's because when we create this new one, it has no type, which I'm sure sets it to null or something. Actually, probably sets it to nil, so why don't we use nil for this? No, it's not nil. Let's, oh. Gotta make sure that is up to date as well. There we go. Okay, so we've got 34 of these. Put one here, 32. Oh, now we're stuck at 32, 30. There we go. So now we don't lose any unless, you know, you can click on all these, but you can't plant it until you go to a new one. Okay, so that's cool. Just keeps you from planting anywhere that you've already planted. So that's good. But now let's you know, take a step towards mapping these types and stuff to something that actually means something. So we are going to go make a mapping, and this is where I would usually use game settings, something like this. Okay, so let's make up some types. Since these are going to be plants, let's go ahead and make these into something that is plant-like. I know this is fun, seeing me just fill out different things that you could plant, sticking mostly to fruits. I had some vegetables in there. Gotta get your vegetables. This is just a test of my spelling and my ability to randomly come up with vegetables. Is it beets or beets? I don't remember. I think it's B. Let's go with that. Now, question I have is, do we want to use a type that is a value that we pass around, or do we want to use these actual names? Let me go with the names. Let's also put them on the object, so we don't necessarily have to keep track of them elsewhere. Okay. We have cost, which is arbitrarily anything. Let's add color. Let me think about this. Yeah, I want to make a simple color class. That'll just make this easier on us. Okay, we're just going to take this class, put it here. And this one is not going to be anything special other than this. It's going to be RGB. Because we're basically just going to make this simple class to wrap up the RGB, so we can just pass around RGB and not have to actually make an object with named stuff. So hopefully it'll become clear, like how it's a little bit simpler to do this. Green is going to be, well, no, this is red, strawberry. Yeah, so RGB. Yeah, so hopefully this is a little bit simpler. Put all these in here. And now we also need to make sure we include the class. Okay, let's make some different colors. So this is one of those things that's very annoying for me, is that they've changed their system to 0 to 1 instead of 0 to 256. Most systems use 0 to 256 because the range of colors is, it's actually like, I think it's 0 to 255, but that corresponds to hexadecimal, which keeps track of it in hexadecimal is base 16, which means you have 0 to 9, and then you have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, I mean technically this is 16, 9, 10, 11, yeah, because you have 0, 0, 9. I think I'm doing that correctly. Anyway, this is how you do that, and if you represent it as, like, say FF, that's 16 times 16 plus your 15, which will go get a trusty calculator to verify. Also, I'm going to open the browser so that we can take a look at stuff as we go. Do our 16 times 16. It's gonna be really sad if I'm wrong about this. Oh yeah, there you go, 16 times 16. So it's because technically this is, you know, whatever the 15 times 15. Anyway, the math is such that, you know, you have 16 characters to use instead of just 10, and for every one, this one, like if you write that, that actually is 16, because this 1 here is worth 16 and not 10. Anyway, if you don't understand that, you should look up base 16 and hexadecimal, how it works. But anyway, the point is that our FF is our, you know, our 255 or whatever in hexadecimal. So it's very easy when you go to, like, let's find a color picker. Yeah, so when you click these, see, they're in there. This is their hexadecimal value, and then this is their RGB value. Now the annoying thing is I have to say, let's say I want to get purple. I have to take this number, divide it by 255, and then so that I get, you know, what it is in 0 to 1 terms. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wing it. So this is a little over half, and this is like 4/5. So we're going to say our beats are 0.8. Let's go 0.5. I'm only going to do this for a few of them, I think, and then we will see. Oh, look at that one's easy. It's like 4/5. So RGB. So we're just going to go through and do a few of these as different colors, and then I'm going to verify that they work, and then I'm probably going to fill the rest of them out, just because I want to actually see different colors for these things. Oh, nice. That is way easier. So pineapple is a nice 110. Let's get a lemon color. Right, 1 and that's like 3/5, so let's do 0.6. Go 1.6. Can we get an orange? Is there a simpler orange? That's a simple orange. There we go. 1.6. 1.6. Oh, we need a different orange for carrots. Let's go with this bright orange. There we go. 1.8. Let's try that. Carrots 1.8. Cool. So now that we've got some colors to use, I'm gonna save that. We have to get rid of all this garbage that is not code. And there we go. We got that saved. Let's give these IDs, and you'll see in a second why we're gonna have IDs. Because otherwise our list is gonna be annoying. Eventually we'll probably get rid of the IDs, but for now they're gonna be useful to us. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna put a sweater on because it's getting cold in here. Okay. So we've got a bunch of items, and they correspond to some values, and those correspond to colors as well. And now let's go link these up. Okay, so we've got our store items. And what we want to do, let's see, create a store item. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's go look at our store. Okay, here we go. So here's where we're creating all the different ones. So what we're going to do is, given an I, this is our I, we are going to, oh, we're actually already sending it? Maybe, maybe not. Oh yeah, because that's our item type. So we're going to do this. Game settings. Oh, I think I called this bulb game settings. Let's double check that. Okay. Yep, bulb game settings. Okay. So we're going to go into our game settings, and we're going to go get item by ID. We're going to make a little function to use that ID to get us one of these items. So here we go. Let's make this usable. Let's make sure we have the same punctuation. Oh, come on, Sublime. There we go. And then we'll go ID. And then we will go through each of the items in type. If type. Oh, see something. I'm rusty on Lua. I think there's a better way to do this actually. Oh, that's what it is, yeah. There we go. Gotta remember the syntax. I equals 0, the length of type. Oh, wait, we want to start at 1 because Lua is 1 based. Do this. Type, we're gonna go, oh yeah, type I dot ID equals ID. Then, yeah, we're just gonna return right out of here with type I. Okay, and if that's the item type, this is no longer gonna work. But let's go like this, print and item type, oh, self dot item type dot tile name. I just want to see if this is working before we go through too much effort. We need this panel. We broke somewhere else. bulb game settings 20 here. Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, you know what? Type, well, 1. It's not type, it's types. But as you saw, this is blue. That probably means it's a keyword in Lua, the type of something. So you don't want to use that. That's a no-no. I'm going to move this over here. Okay, let's see what we got here. Attempt to get length of global types. Oh yes, this is not global. This is in the object. Cool, 19. How did it break? Item type, a nil value. Store item 19. Self dot item type. Huh. So item type did not return anything. Okay. Well, let's see what's happening here. ID. Oh, I know what's happening here. This needs to be self. And this also needs to be self down here. Okay, we were checking one. Let's go down here and go. Oh, haha. And this is types, not type. Hopefully, the more I do this, the better I'll get at typing things correctly the first time. Type in null value. Okay, so we're still not getting anything back. But so let's do this. Self.types. I. Okay, let's see if that worked. Interesting. Wait, let's verify. Very interesting. Okay, so the length of self.types, types equals types. Let's verify that this works the way that I expect it to, which is to give me a length, which should be 10, because there are 10 items. No, it gives me 0. Bulb game settings. This is calling bulb game settings. Interesting. Maybe I'm not remembering how to get the length of something in Lua. Nope. Alright, we're gonna go do our trusty Google. Oh wait, I know what's wrong. There is no length because we did not, these are not numbers. This is not an array. This is a hash. There's a different way to do that. So let's go like this. In a hash table, the number of keys. Here we go. This is what you want. So if this were a regular array, we could iterate through it like this. But these would not be hashes. They would be, these would be numbers. So maybe we should have put ID as that, left it as that, but I think this is probably going to help us in the future. Maybe it won't. Maybe we'll have realized that it was a much better idea to just keep it as an array of items. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, what this is this is key and value in pairs. So if you think of these as pairs, where here is a key and here's the value on the equal side of that sign, this is a pair. And this iterates through the pair and looks at each item. So if we were going to do that, we're going to move this code up here. And of course, then the problem is we don't have this self types I, we just have value. So we're just going to check the value ID against the other ID and return it when we're done. Okay, cool. Let's try that out. Line 21. What did we screw up? Self.types. Keep value in self.types. Oh, what did I do wrong? Attempt to perform arithmetic on field. What? Let's double check this. Okay, continue. Make sure that we're at the lowest. Oh yeah, here we go. Working. Strawberry. Nailed it. Okay, cool. That's this. This is working. Okay, so now that we have that though, we don't need this. We can just go self.itemType dot color dot R. That's how we get our color. That's the R. This is the G, and this is the B. So there we go. Now that's our fill color. So that'll make our menu on the side look the same. The name view, we're actually going to leave this as just white for now. Hopefully all the colors aren't too bright and we can still see it. Inventory as well, we're going to make this white. Text, there we go. Saved. Okay, that should make all of our colors great. Wow, those are ugly. Let's try black text. That might be easier to read. All of these are pretty bright. Yeah, that's gonna be much easier. Okay, cool. Let's make sure that we don't have any darker colors so that we can still see this text. Okay, and while we're at it, we want the name to be the item name. So, I'm going to do something here. First, I'm going to change this from item to item type. I was just about to do a find and replace, but we're still going to use item type here to indicate what it should be. Eventually, I might take this bit of code and move it out to the store. But for right now, we're going to, like with most things, I like to focus on the task at hand, and we'll go refactor this code and make it nicer in the near future when it becomes relevant. Here we go, tile name. Cool, there we go. Strawberry, orange, avocado, etc. Let's get some colors in here for things like our blueberries. Oh, awesome, that's a great idea. Let's do, like I said, I would probably change these as soon as I could see them because I like to see this stuff a little bit. Most of the time I don't care about graphics, but certain things like this where it's going to help us tell what the heck's going on, being able to see the difference between these is going to be helpful. So we need avocado, asparagus, that's it. Just need several different forms of green. What says avocado? We'll go with that one. Right, 0.6. 0. Hopefully that's not too dark. And asparagus, we're gonna go lighter on that one. All right, let's try 0.3, 0.6.3. All right, 0.3, 0.6.3. Hopefully that gives us a nice avocado and asparagus color. Great. All right, now we've got colors for everything. Probably should have swapped lemon and pineapple. Also, I should probably not put them next to each other. That'll make things easier. We're gonna drop that down there, which means I just have to move all these numbers. Sorry, this is dumb, but it's helpful to me. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. There we go. Now I've got a nice wide range of stuff, and we can blow up the game when we try to plant it, which is perfect. Okay, so there we go. We've got a type, and now we're gonna go look at planting and fixing that. So first off, let's look at our select plant. That's got to be around here somewhere. The select tile. Selected plant type. What is that? Well, we got to go look at our dispatch. Yeah, we're adding an event for select plant. So what we want is our dispatch event, which comes from either here. Yeah, here we go. Item type, planting function, plant events, planting function. Planting function, I believe we pass to our tile here. Not our tile, store item. Is that right? Let's find it. Planting function. Look at this. I mean, it doesn't take very long to start forgetting where everything is. Okay, yeah, so store item, planting function. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And we're passing item type, but item type no longer exists. Now we just have item. So let's go ahead and change that to item. Okay, so now imagine that, well, let's make sure that we change it throughout this, because otherwise we're gonna get confused as to what the heck passing around here. So let's go item, item, cool. And then this game, selected plant type, we're just gonna go item, we're gonna call this selected plant. I think these are all in this file. Good. Okay. Let's go ahead and replace selected plant type with selected plant. Replace all of them. Great. So now we have our selected plant. Yeah, this is item. No, it's type. We're going to change this to item. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this. So, you go to player item bag. Go take a look at the player. Oh, look at this. They have an item bag. All right, here's what we're gonna do. So we want them to have this item bag. We're not ready to set it up for real yet, but for now, let's give it a random bunch of items. Go ahead and take this. Okay, so they have to have a name here, so we're gonna get rid of this. What we're gonna do is in bulb game settings .type, we're gonna iterate through all the list of types, and for each one of those, we're going to add something to the item bag. Yeah, let's use the name. So we want value.name. Could actually use key. Let's just use key. Its name is value dot, or well, it's the key because we're iterating through the keys. And the inventory, we're gonna do this. Let's go take a look at Lua. Gotta remember how math.random works in every different place. Okay, we want a random number. Upper generates integer numbers between 1 and upper. Good. 1 and let's say 30. Give you a random 30. Cool. Okay, so here we go. Selected plant. We're gonna need dot tile name, which should be just name. That would be nice, but we're not gonna worry about that. Item bag tile name dot inventory. Yeah, that's fine. Player deduct item. We need the name. All right, can plant. We're just gonna go ahead and send the type. Is that what we've got? No, tile name is the type. Yeah, I should have come up with something better for that. We're gonna leave it as tile name though. Maybe I'll go through and change that everywhere shortly. Okay, so in our map, we have this type, which we're getting the type. That's great. And type equals nil. That's fine. We can leave it where the initial type is nil. So let's see. The original type is nil. When we plant, we're gonna go create. There's a bulb tile. Okay, so cool. Yes, this is where we want to get. When we create it, okay, that's a type. Yes, great. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do nope. Yeah, types. Given that type, and then we have to do our color. Actually, let's just do this. We're gonna go like this. Just in this local here, we're gonna go plant type. Equals that guy. So now we can just go, and actually we're gonna call it plant, not plant type. Cool. Okay, so there we go. That'll set the fill color. Gotta update things on the internet. Okay, and then let's also make the ground look like the ground when we click it. We'll give it this color. Cool. We'll do like 0.8, 0.6, 0, 0.8, 0.6, 0, 0.8, 0.6, 0. Okay, cool. Now, let's go see what we broke. Okay, bulb UI 21. 21 self player. Here we go. Yes. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at what we're doing with our store items and what we actually need for this. So the problem is getting the name, inventory from a player's. Okay, so the name, we don't need to do that. We can just go like this. We can get the name from, I mean, the name is actually the tile type. Well, no, not the tile type. But anyway, it's the item tile name. We're just gonna do that so we can get rid of name. It's great, one down. Let's go ahead and delete that. That makes this function call smaller. That's nice. Okay, and then this, we want item bag. Interesting. Yep, this is exactly why we're gonna move this up to here. See, most of these changes, you know, you try to put them off, but you're just gonna have to do them sooner or later. And if we just get them done quickly, like sooner rather than later, we won't have to mess with it. Like, I could have hacked around this. I could have passed the player item bag object to the store item for it to get its inventory and stuff, but that would just be kind of dumb. Let's do things proactively, fix things. So we're not gonna need I passed to this guy. We're just gonna need the item. And the inventory. Use tile name dot inventory. There we go. So we'll go back over here. We're going to change this item type to just item. And we can get rid of this. There we go. Now we should be pretty good. Let's see what else we broke. Bulb UI 21. What's going on there? What are we missing? Item dot tile name. Let's take a look. Temp to index question mark. Nil value. Okay, let's just verify. So you can see I like to use debug statements. I like to use them as much as possible, but like in, you know, a game or a programming language where you could actually debug, you know, you'd set a breakpoint there and just see what the values are, but it's just as easy in this to just print out the values. Except of course when something goes wrong. Where is this? Bulb UI 23. Expected to close at line 22. I'm not missing a comma. Oh, you know what? Oh, we probably didn't even have the latest changes because that should have broken. Hey, there we go. Okay, let's see. Yep, broken. It's okay. We can deal with that. Oh yeah, look at that. All those tile names, everything worked great. We can get rid of this print. But what did break? Oh, before we do that, let's look at the line. It was 31. Okay, and delete that because now the lines just moved. Well, what was the issue in 30 or 32? 32 was this guy. Items. Okay, so when what are we adding? Like bulb store items. Okay. Item used. Okay. Where does item used get called from? Ah, here we go. It's an event on the player. Update inventory. Okay, let's go look at store item, update inventory. Inventory view. Oh yeah, new value. Okay, this is just a value on this update inventory. Event.new value. So the type is wrong when we're calling item used. Okay, so let's find that. Which we would expect that to happen, of course, because we changed it. So here we go. Here's item used, here's type. Ah, here we go, deduct item. Now if that type is correct for the item bag, let's go look at the, is it in here that we deduct? Yes, deduct item. And we give it the tile name. Great. We have the tile name. And item bag should be using that. Tile name, tile name, tile name, type. Great. Item bag. Okay. Interesting. All right, so let's just go like this. Let's get its type and let's get its value just to find out what's going on here. Okay, so it should be carrots 6. Let's see what we got here. Oh, well, 5, yes, the new value, carrots 5. Okay, so what was our problem? Bulb UI 32. Bulb UI 32. Items, 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 items. Ah, okay, here we go. So our items here, we were keeping this nice little numbered list. Oh yeah, this list is just made terribly now, right? Because we're making this UI based on the items that are there. Let's do this. Let's base them off of the player's item bag. Because really, that's really what we want, is the whatever the player has. Like, let's say the player runs out of a certain item. We want to only show the ones that are actually in the item bag. And if we're doing that, KV, we don't even have an I. We don't even have to get the item by ID, do we? Nope. We just have to do, actually. So we're gonna add a new function and we're gonna call it get item by name. And that's that. Do we use I anywhere else? No, we did not use I anywhere else. Okay, and then of course in items we're gonna wanna use K. And that'll fix that part down there, but now we need this fancy function in the bulb game settings of get item by name. Now technically I could have just done bulb game settings dot types dot whatever the name is, but I don't want to do that. I want a nice helper function here so that I always have to type that. I can just put in the name on that simple function and then it'll return types name, which of course needs to be self.types name. Also, I notice there are spaces here. I like tabs, so I'm just gonna correct that. All right, relaunch. What do we break now? Attempt to perform arithmetic, bulb UI. I was looking for another I. Oh, here we go. This is the I. Okay, so we're gonna make an I because we're gonna need one here. I plus plus. Oh, I don't think you can do that. I have to do I equals I plus 1. Lua doesn't have anything that fancy. Oh, this is funny because we're subtracting 1. So why don't we just move this to the bottom here? And then we don't have to subtract 1. Makes that a little simpler. And there we go. Save that. All right, here we go. Got our oranges 30. Bam. They're going down. And you can't put them on top of each other. You can still drag them. All right, let's see asparagus. You can't put asparagus on there, but you can put asparagus down. Hey, look at that. Now we've got different colors. Now you've got a cool, fun drawing app where you can just draw whatever you want to your heart's content, as long as you have enough of each of these colors to draw it. Great. Okay, so that's for starters. We are essentially planting stuff. So where do we go from here? The next thing would probably be, let's think about this. So the things that we're gonna have are, of course, these plants, and they are gonna grow over time, and that's gonna correspond to a change in color. That's fine. But it's also just going to be that they start out, they're planted, you have to wait a while, and then you can harvest them. So for now, the next step, why don't we add a counter whenever you put one of these down. So we're going to say, I'm going to put down peas or whatever. We're going to put a little counter on it, and that counter is going to update over time, and then when it hits 0, it's going to mean that this is harvestable, which means you'll be able to, for right now, we'll just say, like, if you click it, you can send it back to our store here. We're going to probably have to add, obviously, to this store UI some other items like whatever hoe or trowel or whatever you use to dig up your crops. Yeah, so just trying to think if there's anything fancy I want to do with that. But yeah, why don't we just start with adding this timer and stuff. That'll probably be enough to take us out the next hour, but we'll find out. Okay, so for starters, when we place a tile, we are going to need, we'll call it harvest counter. Okay, so this is not whatever that ground tile is. Eventually we're going to go through and add this thing to be the ground tile, and that'll have its own color, etc. But not yet. So let's do a harvest counter. Set it to 100. Make sure we do self-harvest counter. And we're going to need an update function now, because over time, these tiles are going to need to be updated. Okay. We're gonna save that real quick. So we have our counter. Let's go harvest count. I can't type. Harvest count view, and because it's just going to be some text, let's go grab some text from somewhere. That way we don't have to go through a bunch of work to remake it. Oh, you know what? Let's move this up here. That there. And we're going to call this a harvest count view. So let's go ahead and change all these. Oh, I just messed up. Okay, so now we have this harvest count view. It's got some text. Got to have our view options. So let's go get what our options are. Get the comment as well. Harvest count text, cool. I'm gonna put this here. We're gonna leave this aligned left. The text is of course going to be the harvest counter. And everything else is pretty much gonna be the same, except that we only want to do this when we actually have an item. So we're gonna go like this, type, just like above, but I don't want to have, interesting. You know what? We're gonna put this tile view, whoop, tile view color up here, and we'll put the plant above it because that looks a little nicer. And we're going to take these two lines and we are going to move them down here. And that way this encompasses our entire chunk of things that happen when you're planting a plant and not planting the ground. There's other things that we could do eventually, like could have inheritance and stuff to kind of break this up better, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Okay, so we've got a harvest count. Blah, blah, blah. And let's insert it here. And while we're at it, let's delete it here. Oh, don't want that. There we go. Let's see if that worked. Nope. What did we do wrong? 52 self.harvest count view. Oh, duh. We're only going to add this if it exists, of course. That would be a good idea. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay, here we go. Strawberry. Oh, we're not seeing an item. Let's get rid of this item used, of course. We don't need that. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We've got our harvest counter, which should be 100. We are still setting the color correctly. And Y00. Oh yes, of course. So there's no width and height. We've got size to use here, so let's use that. Let's see. No, okay, that's not it yet. Name tag, sinker. We've got an X and a Y. We're gonna try this just for the sake of testing. Let's make sure. Anchor 00, self X, self Y. Ah, okay, so something's there. But it looks like it's, oh! We're inserting the tile view after. We want the tile view to be inserted before, otherwise can't see our text because it's in the wrong order. Harvest counter, let's try that. Hey, there we go. And let's see if this works without breaking anything. Perfect. Okay, cool. So now we have our counter. So now we've got our update function. In our update function, all we're going to do is go self.harvest counter, self.harvest counter -1. Let's go. This counter is greater than or equal to 1. And let's go state equals harvestable. Do we have a state? Just using our type. Yeah, so I do want to make a state because we want, for right now, we're probably going to apply a state later. Like we're going to call this dirt, and then when we're here, we're going to call it growing. And when we're here, we're going to call it harvestable. And that's going to make it harvestable for us later. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, like, what calls this update function? And that needs to happen at our game level. So we're going to call update function on a regular basis. This is very common in all my games too. I have this, of course, I have the instantiation of the class, then I create with the group, Then I have an update function, and then I have my remove, which destroys it. This update basically the idea is that every time that you want to update something on a regular basis or do something on a timer or something like that, you are going to have to set a timer that listens and triggers an event. Of course, you could add those timers all over the place, but there's a lot of overhead to timers. So instead, I like to add a timer in one place, and then, which is my game, which the game runs the game, of course. And that way, like, if I want to pause the game, I just have to pause the timer in that one place, and I don't have to like have checks everywhere to see if we're paused or not. So I go ahead and I pause in that one place, and then, you know, so that is the one place where it updates. So because of that, we're going to update from the game all the way down to the tile, which is why we're going to do this function, bulb game, update, and we're going to update the map. So that's good there. Let's have that. And so what we want to do is iterate through the tiles, which this is what I want. I, as you will find out, love to save myself time, and to do so I do things like this, like, hey, I'm just gonna steal this function that essentially this function that I wrote already, to iterate through all of them and remove them, and instead of removing them, I'm gonna update them, if I could spell update correctly. There we go. Blammo. Save that. Now, of course, nothing's happening because we have not added our listener. Yeah, so it's this enter frame listener. We could add it here, but I actually want to add it in the bulb game itself. So we're going to do that on create, enter frame. We're going to do self, which I think will give us, actually, well, let's find out. I think you can do an object listener for this, in which case it'll call on enter frame. Let's find out. There we go. Let's see if that worked. Nope, nothing happening. Let's try enter frame. Hey, that worked. Look at all that entering frame. All right, so when we enter frame, instead, we're going to call self update, because we want to update the game itself. So let's see, we plant some of that and everything blows up. Okay. Oop. Seems I referenced C, which doesn't work. C.state, yep. Self.state. I frequently do that. Like I said, I should find a way to change this to self, and then I won't have to worry about that in the future. Oh, I changed it down there. It's just that one place. It always gets you. Okay, so I've got those things updating. Let's see if the tile is updating. Well, no, we're not going to do that, because I know the reason it's failing to show is that we're not updating the view with the current counter. Save that. Boom, boom. Oh, look at that. Look at how fast it goes. And bam, 0. Now we can harvest. Look at that. Now that's fun to watch. Got all these different times. They're all ticking down super fast. Cool, there we go. Now they hit 0, and now it's like, hey, it's harvest time. In fact, let's do that. We're going to change this text to. I wonder if this is going to be all overlapped and messed up. Now that's curious. What did we screw up there? Harvest count view. Oh, haha. So one of the things to know is that this update is being called on things that even don't have a harvest counter. So what we want is we only want this to happen if its state is growing. Because we don't, for instance, the ground, we don't want it to immediately update and go, oh, harvest counter. Well, harvest counter was 0, so it's not greater than or equal to 1, so state is harvestable, and then harvest. Like, we don't want that. We only want this state change to happen from the growing state. So I just want to see what it looks like if we put harvest on there. Harvest. That's funny. Okay, cool. I like that. Now we know to harvest it. Okay, so in order to harvest it, of course, we are going to need a tool. And we are going to want to add that to our inventory. So I think what I'm going to do is take out a couple of items, and those are going to be asparagus and pineapple, because that will make everything easier. Now, if we wrote everything right, oh, look at that. Where's... Oh, these are all out of order, of course. Okay. Okay, so asparagus, pineapple. Sorry, we knew ye well. We're gonna get rid of those, which of course means that we're down to 8, which means we need a new 7. 7. There we go. Cool. Cool. Now we have spots for our tools. So we're gonna go into the UI. And we're going to make a new item. Now, this is where I would usually use inheritance. I don't use inheritance as much in Lua because it's a super pain to do it. So instead, well, it's not a super pain, but it's more complicated. Maybe we'll change that later, but for now we're not going to. So normally I would say like, hey, it's a store item. We'd actually think of it like, it's not so much a store, should call it like inventory, and then I would put the items, like the tool, whatever the, you know, like the, I guess we'll just do a shovel. The shovel would be a tool in your inventory, and it would be treated the same as all of these things, minus the fact that it doesn't have an inventory item and stuff. But we're not going to worry about that for now. We're just going to make a tool. We're going to call it store tool, because they're all in the store. Eventually, we're going to probably clean that up. But for now we're going to play fast and loose and just leave the store item as it is. So we have no concept of inventory, so let's get rid of all that. And yes, touch self, begin, planting function. No, this one's gonna call select tool. Well, there's only one tool right now, but we will change that eventually. Let's give it a name. We have no concept of updating inventory. Okay, so we have item view, name view. We don't have an inventory view. Cool. So get rid of that. Get rid of our inventory view. Are we using events? No, we're not using events, which also means, so let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of our inventory. And I don't know what we're gonna need. Maybe we're gonna need UI. Yeah, we need UI. I don't think we need item. No, we do need item. We're gonna leave it there for now. Okay. Mostly done that. Oh, that's what I want to do. So if we're not using events over here. Yeah, we were gonna add events, but we're not yet. Let's just comment it out to remind ourselves that we're not using it. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our store items. So we've gone and added all these. This is what I'm gonna do. Before that, let's go tools. This is a little rough, but this is kind of how I work. I often will kind of figure out things as I go. Sometimes I'll pause and take a bit to think about it, but I want to keep you in on that process. So if I stop and I take some time to think about how I want to organize tools and stuff, I will do that and then go through on the stream like how that's happening. But for now, got probably another 20, 30, 40 minutes, 40 minutes or so. So I just want to keep going. So I'm not going to think too hard about how we're going to implement tools. We'll just go back and change them later if you know, the worst case scenario happens where we need to make them work more like the bulk store items. So anyway, all that to say that you should really think about how you write your code as much as possible and rewrite it better all the time. You know, fix it as you go, because eventually you're gonna get really far and it's gonna be super painful to go back and fix it. So it's better to do it now. So I'm just taking these values from the values that we were using for the store item, as you can see here. Because this, I'm gonna make this the first item. And what else do we need? We need the item. And that item needs a tile name. And what else? What else do we need? We need a color. And that's it. Cool. So let's include our store tools and our color. This one I want to be some kind of brown as well. It's a shovel. No, maybe we'll make it gray. That's a brownish gray. Okay. 0.6, 0.4. That sound right? I'm just guessing. Rough estimation. It's good to be able to do math in your head, kids. Definitely try to do all your math in your head so you get better at it, so you don't have to waste time with the calculator. Okay, so of course we need this to be our shovel. That's the item. What else we got? Inventory and UI. Inventory does not make sense for our tool because you have infinite tool, which actually that might change in the future. Maybe we'll have a different tool where you have an inventory. But for now, we just have this, and then we have self for the UI. Okay, and the Y, of course, it's normally this, but now because we're gonna have this tool, and I'm probably gonna add another tool at some point, so I'm going to do that to make this start out lower down. Let's see if we broke everything. Cool, there we go. So this all starts lower down like we expected. The tool that we created has no Y. Why else is it not getting created? Let's take a look. Let's go like this. Print self.x, self.y, self.item.color.r. Let's see if those things are coming through all right. No, none of them are. Cool. That's good to know. Bulb store tools. It's a bulb store. Oh, yes, of course. I would need to call the functions that I have, like create with the group. There we go. There's our shovel. Cool. Now I click that and it explodes. That's fine. So you touch that. I want to see something. Do we mess this up? Nope. Okay, that's good. Okay, event X, event Y. When you touch the tool, select tool. Cool. Okay. So we're going to make a similar function here. We're going to call it select tool. There you go, name, select tool, have a tool type, we're going to call it name, it's going to be shovel, so actually instead of name, why don't we just call this type, and we're going to dispatch that event, which we're going to call tool event. Ammo, save that. Now we're going to go to our game. That is the game scene. We do not want that. We also don't need main up here. We're really focused on just making the game. And here we are going to listen for an event. Here we go. And it's called select tool. And here we go. Select tool. We're gonna say your tooling. It's gonna be a little different. Select tool. And data.type. Cool. Now we're gonna go here, go else if. State equals tooling, so you're tooling with this. Tooling with selected tool. And as always, I like to put that there so you can see all of them. And what did we break? Cool, game 75. As you can see, I don't worry about breaking things. Oh, I think this is like elif, else if, or is it one word? Is that maybe breaking things? Yeah, that was that. That's so annoying. Okay. Blah. Make sure we can see this. Oh, tooling with. Oh, it's a function. That's not good. And that's why it's complaining. Select tool. Not select tool, selected tool. Okay, cool. Hey, tooling with nil. Well, we're part of the way there. I don't get why it seems to lag when I select a tool, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. We're going to find out why this tool did not... Oh, haha, remember always. When messing with objects, make sure to use the right thing. Self-dot. And that's the game. Okay, let's see if that worked. Sorry for the yawning. A little tired today. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Tooling with the shovel. Huh. I feel like that's slow. Not entirely sure why. Maybe it's because we're calling update on all these things. Maybe not. We'll see. What we care about now is being able to harvest those things that we planted that are harvestable. So, let's see, we've got our tooling. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to check the location. So we do need the location. How are we getting the location before? Select, oh yeah, duh, we're from our select tile event. Okay, so if self.map can harvest, and let's give it a location, then self.map harvest. Now of course we could wrap these into one function where we just call harvest, and if it fails to harvest it returns that it failed to harvest or something. But I prefer this. I prefer to just separate it, make it simple on ourselves. Okay, even if we do a little extra logic to find the item and check it and stuff. You know, as a performance passed later, you could always go back and make sure, or make all this much cleaner and simpler. But for now, we're not worried that much about performance. We just want it's not equal nil. Oh, that's right. Can't do that. That's it. It's Lua. Okay, that'll tell us we can harvest it currently. Eventually, that's probably gonna have to get more robust because there might be other things there that are not plants. But for now, we've got that. And what do we have to do? We have to harvest it. Okay, so I have an idea. Because I want the game to worry about things like harvesting and updating UI. I don't want the map to worry about that. So all we're going to do is we are going to get the type of this object. Oh. So we're going to get its type. Now we're going to clear it. And by clear it, I mean we're going to turn it into... Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So I could just, to clear it, let's try reusing our plant function and just putting in nil. Because then the type here is going to be nil, and that should be fine. And then of course what we want to return is the plant type to then account for harvesting. So what should happen, so we put these here, can't do anything because it can't harvest. That's fine, now I can harvest. Now nothing's happening because I didn't save my code over here. Good job. Alright, There's some strawberries. I click my shovel. Ooh, blow up. What's happening? What was that? That was bulb map 39. That should be in the can harvest. No, why is it in there? Oh, no, we don't want type equals that. We want state equals harvestable. Harvestable, what do we call it? Harvestable. Good naming goes a long way. I don't know if that was good naming. Sure was something. So, we're gonna plant that to our shovel, and we can't do anything with it because it's not harvestable. Now it's harvestable, and now we can blow up. Cool. So 39, attempt to index field layers, a nil value. Oh, that's not what we want. We want self.plant. We want the actual object and not the, I don't want to mess with the full class. Okay, so I can't harvest that, great. Now it's done. Harvest, hey, look at that, now they're gone. So that's good. We got rid of them, but you know, now they're not coming back, of course. So it occurs to me all of a sudden that those are seeds, and what we're harvesting is technically the plant. So at some point I'm gonna have to do a some kind of conversion there. Maybe in this game, because I believe farmers do a they harvest plants, and sometimes they harvest them for the seeds, like they replant them. Like, I don't know if you've seen The Martian yet, but he's planting potatoes, and yeah, he has to replant some of them instead of eating them. And maybe that's what we'll do in this game. I don't know yet. That could be like a different tool, one that harvests seeds, one that harvests the plant. But we're gonna ignore that for right now. We're just going to make it so that when you harvest one of these, let's say you get 2 back in return. Okay, so we have harvested it, and we have our type harvested. There we go. So all we want to do is go to the inventory. UI here, yeah. Yep, UI, and let's go. Let's go see what our update inventory looks like. Oh, we have item used. We don't have, then it calls update inventory. Yeah, let's go item added. Interesting. Oh, yeah. Because we're doing some kind of player deduct item from there. Ah, here we go. So yeah, we're keeping these items on the player. We're deducting an item. And so we have this item used event. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this a little more interesting. So first, we're gonna go to our player, and we're going to add an item. And we're gonna put 2, like we said. Now we're gonna go to our player, and instead of deducting an item, we are going to add item, type num. Hey, we've got a type, inventory, instead of minus num, we are going to hit plus num. Great. Now we're gonna call this item updated, because it doesn't matter in this case. Maybe later it'll matter whether or not this is being added or deducted, which actually we could go Status. We'll put these for later. This is a place where I think we're definitely eventually going to need this, so, you know, might as well put it in there. Deducted, added, type, blah, blah, blah. The type changes, and it sends an event. So now, bulb UI, this needs to be looking for item updated, not used. Okay, all updated. And now we update the inventory with the new value, and everything's good. Like that. That was already not a exclusive to adding an item, right? So, okay, we've used up a bunch of our avocados. Now we got our shovel. Can't harvest them. Hey, now they're harvestable. And look at that. We're getting 2 back for each one that we put down. And look at that. I can just drag over, and bam. I've got a ton of... Let's put a bunch of strawberries out there. A bunch of blueberries. Just to try it out, just to make sure it works. Now let's go harvest a bunch of stuff. Look at all those numbers fly up. Great. Okay. So now we've harvested our items. Now we can go back and plant them again. That's excellent. Okay, so now the question is, what are we going to do next? So eventually I'm going to want this inventory to be like a scrollable list of buttons, like I'll probably use their scrolling widget, etc. I'm not ready to do that yet, because that probably be better spent in like one session. So I'm thinking I might start on the second part of this game, though I don't want to give away too much about that just yet. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and do that? Okay, so we're gonna make a new scene. We're gonna need a way to get to that scene. So I am going to do this. We're going to make another tool. And this will be an interesting type of tool. Whoa. Let's just duplicate that whole thing. Yeah, we don't have tools on here. Yeah, why don't we do that? Go ahead and do this. So I'm going to make a thing that allows us to go to a different scene. A tool. It's not a tool, but it's technically an item, like in the inventory. It just because that's where our UI is going to be. But that I'm going to start with, and then I'm going to do some cleanup, and then I think that'll be it for the day. Let's see how far we get along with that. So tools, and here we go. So this will be good though. We're gonna go ahead and implement the second tool, and then I'm gonna do a bunch of cleanup. And then we'll be good for the day. There's our view, and we're gonna call this navigate. Whoop, what am I doing here? It's a shovel view, this is navigate, this is a navigate view. Actually, we're gonna call this home, because it's gonna send you home. And I'm gonna change this one to 1 and this one to 2. Swap them because I want the home to be on top. There we go. Tile name home. This is how we're gonna tell what it's gonna do. What kind of color do we want? Gotta give it a snazzy color. Let's give it this. Alright, that's gonna be 0.8, 0.6 ish. No. Yeah. 0.6. No, 0.4. 0.8, 0.4, 1. So 0.8, 0.4, 1. There we go. So we can distinguish it. That's an item, blah blah blah. Let's save that. Is that enough for us to get? Item nil value, line 10. Whoop, where is this? Store tool, line 10. Name. Oh, of course. Need to change that to reference the correct one. Oh yes, and I want to change the location of this guy. Yep. There we go. There we go. Home, shovel, blah blah blah. You click home. It's a tool, so it's gonna update the game. Is it gonna update the game somewhere? No. Select tool. Yeah, select tool. Alright, we're gonna go if data.type equals home. Else. Okay, so this is gonna be a scene navigation. Which is the first time we're doing this, which is fun. But just trying to think about a couple of things. Thinking about where we're going and how we're gonna get there. So we have a game scene, and this is what we're going to have to go to a different scene. We're gonna have to do our handy dandy storyboard go-to scene. Here's a transition. I use it here, I thought. No, not there. Level in this menu. Ah, yeah, fade. We're gonna use a fade just for fun. But the question is, do we want to do that from our game scene, or do we want to do it from our game? So what we need is this. Storyboard. Go to scene. We're gonna go to scene home. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do it like that. I think this will be fine. Eventually we might want to change it to send out an event to the storyboard, because what I'm worried about is cleanup, but that's okay because we're about to do cleanup anyway, so we'll clean that up. That's okay. It doesn't know about it because we haven't given it yet. So Bulbasaur game scene. Here we go. Height, width, storyboard. Bam. Then I probably didn't use then on an if statement because I'm so used to other languages. There we go. Great. Oh yeah, that should complain that it has no idea what the home scene is. There you go. Home not found. That's okay. We haven't figured out where the home is yet. Yeah, I'm gonna change this to bulb since that's what I'm calling them all. And we're gonna rename this guy. There we go. And And now we want to add our new scene. Copy our naming convention. Put our home scene over here. Game, go to home scene. Here we go, save that. Let's go check out the game scene. Copy it, paste it. Now we're gonna have a home. Get rid of all this garbage. We have no need for. We're gonna leave that called name if we're gonna call this bulb home. Cool, get rid of all this garbage. And we have an enter frame listener and an enter frame and a time listener and everything. Let's get rid of these. We're not ever gonna use those. I don't foresee us relying on that for anything. It's nice and cleaned up. Okay. So in order for this to work, we are also going to need a home scene, or a home class, I should say. Let's go ahead and open our home class. Now we're just going to take the game, put that in the home, full sail. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to replace here, bulb game, bulb home. Okay, let's see what we broke. Okay, so we've got our little scene. We can draw stuff. We can hopefully harvest it. Cool, we're harvesting. Let's go home. And we're back. Now that was interesting. It did not... It only faded this. It didn't fade the map, which means our map was probably not added to our game. This is the kind of stuff that you learn when you actually test your stuff. So we have map, create group. Oh yes, and that's the other thing, is I want to go through and clean everything up. Make sure we're destroying everything appropriately. And we're going to find out if we did that. Here we go. So we made this tile group as a new group. We never added it to group. So let's make sure we go ahead and do that. Oh. Group, insert, tile group. Cool. Hey, we're here. We click home and we go over here. Cool. So that's the beginning of this, but we're gonna make some changes. Just want to make some quick changes before we go doing some other stuff. So first, we're gonna get rid of the map, which means we can get rid of map update. We can get rid of map here, and all of this stuff. We're just gonna get rid of it all. This is going to be totally different. We're actually going to get rid of select tile. So now you're going to have a select tile. You'll see what we're going to have eventually, but not yet. We may still have a select plant. We're going to leave that. Don't have to remove that because it doesn't exist. No planting. So we have a select plant. We have a select tool that does nothing. We're going to enter frame, update, that's fine. I think we'll be good here. This bulb player is actually going to need to be the player, so we're actually going to have to fix that, but we're not going to fix it just yet. Let's make sure that this is okay. Hey, there we go. Good. So now let's go look at the remove self. So this kills all the layers, but what else do we have? I don't know, I think we're fine on that. What I'm worried about is the UI. So the UI doesn't even have a remove self. So let's go ahead and add that. Yeah, let's look at here. So we have player, UI map. Let's make sure we're getting rid of everything. Self.ui. So this is the kind of cleanup stuff that you should do on a regular basis. Make sure that you're doing this stuff. Preferably we would be removing this stuff as soon as we added it the first time. But you know, you get wrapped up in stuff. So it's good to periodically check. Make sure that you're doing things correctly. Okay. Okay, now with this, we're going to want to remove all of our tools and our shovels and our home, etc. So we can make this simple loop for this. Y equals 0. I'm going to go through all of our tools. Great, which means we need to make sure that our self.tools gets set. Didn't think it was. There we go. Self.tools. It's been added. Cool, that'll get rid of the tools for the items. Go like this. Again, I just copy and paste code because it's a lot quicker. Okay, so yes, so for all of our items, right? Yes, items, self.items equals items. Okay, for each of our items, we just want to get that and remove self. Okay, that's great. So that means our tools and our items need to be able to have a remove self. That's a tile, that's not an item. We want a store item. There we go. We need a remove self here. And what do we have to remove? We have to remove a name view, an item view, and an inventory view. Okay. Name view. Oh yes, and let's remember to set these things to nil. Very important part of our cleanup. To make sure everything gets garbage collected and it's gone for good. It's a good habit. There we go. Name view. Inventory view. What's the other one? Item view, is that right? Yes, it's item view. Cool. There we go. Copy that, save it. We're gonna go to the store tool. Make sure we do the same thing here. We're gonna take this tool, and it just has a name view and an item view. It does not have an inventory view. Okay. All right, we put all the stuff down. Let's go to home. Hey, it's all gone. Okay, cool. Nothing else breaks. That's great. I want to get rid of these print statements wherever they are. So we can get rid of this selected tool. That's good. Let's see where the other print statement is. Just like to clean this stuff up. That trying to plant thing is fine. It was in UI. No, not in UI. Tile, maybe. Let's just find it quickly. Print. Here we go. Yeah, we don't need this. Yeah, make sure to keep all your files and everything, and all your code clean. It'll save you millions of headaches in the future. Always just clean up your code as you go. Okay, let's harvest these things. Great. Go to home. That changes. Awesome. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this. We're gonna get rid of it, and we are gonna go like this. We're gonna make a navigation UI. Paste that there. Oh, no, not there. Navigation equals navigation. And then we're going to do this. Change it from home to dot navigation. Now we're gonna go to the game. Where's the UI? Here we go, UI. Okay, so we made this function to do that. Top player, color. Oh yes, so we want to call it home. There we go. That's our navigation. Hey, everything's golden there. But it's gonna break when we go back to the home. So let's go to the home. We're gonna put this here, but instead of going home, this is gonna go to the garden. And there we go, garden. Garden. Okay. And so, just like this one, says that if, yeah, here we're gonna go select a tool, home, select tool, bam. And if the tool is the garden, we are gonna go back to bulb game scene. And we'll just leave that other part of the tool there. Great. Okay, so plant stuff. And we're gonna go home. Hey, we're here. Home. Now we're gonna go back to the garden. And we're back at the garden. Cool. Still got all of our stuff. We're gonna have to make sure we save that in the future. But for now, it's good enough to say like, hey, we're going home. Hey, we're going back to the garden. You will see in the next iteration what we're gonna do in the home. It's gonna be very different, but we're gonna just continue building on this. And you know, as we go further, the game that I'm creating will become more clear. Anyway, we're ending our time now. So as always, you can see this stream live on Fridays around 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and they go for about 2 hours, as you can see from the running time. So, you know, jump on during that time and ask questions on Twitch, or as you're probably viewing this, if you're not viewing it right now, is on YouTube, where you can leave comments, etc. And remember to check the GitHub. Every one of these that I finish, like every day that I finish, every stream that I finish, I update the code and I make a tag so that you can follow along in the tags and see exactly where the code was at each stage. So yeah, check it out, enjoy, and have a great day.